right, Good Mic Work back at you as promised with your WrestleMania 32 predictions. Here we go. The show is just, 4 days away? We got a lot to get into here and a lot to talk about. I started writing down ideas and jotting down some notes, and I thought to myself that I could talk about this pay-per-view and the potential outcomes of a lot of these matches for an hour and a half, but we got to condense this shit and we got to get right down to business. I'm not going to make this a too terribly long video. I'm not going to overanalyze things. I'm just going to kind of give you some quick from-the-hip predictions, and I'm just kind of winging a lot of this and just going to make a lot of random guesses, and we'll see how accurate I turn out to be. Sometimes I have fantastic predictions and I get every single match right, and there's other times when I will just get one or two matches right. So we'll see how I fare after this Sunday, but I've got a lot of ideas and a lot of things that I think that I would like to see happen on the show, and also you combine that with what I think the WWE might do, and I think I've got some pretty decent predictions laid out for you here. Just a quick programming note for those of you that like to listen to me on iTunes and Stitcher Radio, and for those of you that like to download the MP3 from my website, GoodMicWorkCommentaries.com. This episode will not be available until Friday, April 1st. And the reason for that is I'm all out of space for the company that hosts my podcast feed. I pay for plenty of space and usage per month. The problem is, at the beginning of March, my WrestleMania Memories commentary was 6 hours long, and it took up a ton of space. Now, everything gets reset at the beginning of every month, so there's no need for me to go purchase more when it's going to roll over in 2 days anyway. So unfortunately, YouTube is the only place you will be able to hear these predictions until Friday, but after Friday, you will be able to find it on iTunes and Stitcher and on my website as well. Also, if you're not following me on social media, what the hell is your problem? I'm a lot of fun during WrestleMania time, so please follow me on Twitter at GoodMicWork and like my Facebook page. Both links are in the description below, and don't forget I will be back up here on Friday reviewing the NXT Dallas show, and I should have a quick little video up late Saturday night or early Sunday morning giving my thoughts and reaction to the Hall of Fame ceremony. WrestleMania is right around the corner, and it's pretty much here. Now it's time to talk about that, so let's get right into these matches. I mean, according to WWE.com, I was looking at some of the scheduling for Sunday. I mean, we're looking at a 6-hour pay-per-view here. I think the kickoff show is 2 hours with 4, count 'em, matches involved in the kickoff show. That's pretty crazy. I honestly can't even remember how many they did last year. I'm guessing it was 2 or 3, but I didn't think it was 4. So let's get into some of these matches that are advertised according to WWE.com. I just looked at the website a few minutes ago. Maybe some of these can change, but according to them, these are the 4 matches that will be taking place on the kickoff show, so we will start my predictions with those. Why don't we start with that complete mess of a Divas match? I think there's 8 or 9 or 10 women involved in this thing. You've got Team Bad and Blonde taking on Team Total Divas. Now, Eva Marie turned out to be the big mystery partner last week on Monday Night Raw, and I think she was supposed to be a babyface and got booed worse than Roman Reigns did. People do not like her, neither do I. It's so nice that for the first time pretty much ever, the women's division is actually pretty credible, and to have someone like her out there, she's just, she's not welcome amongst us wrestling fans, and nobody really likes her, and I'm glad. Hopefully she'll just fizzle away and disappear, but she's involved in this kickoff match. No big deal. Let's not spend any time worrying about who's going to win in this clusterfuck of divas. It means nothing to me, so I'm going to go out on a limb and pick Team Total Divas because the tie-in with the E! Network show, you know, a Divas victory here at WrestleMania can make for a great future episode somewhere down the line, so I got to pick the Divas team to win this. We're also getting the Dudley Boys versus the Usos on the kickoff show as well. You know, again, this has been a long-running tag team feud here, and I'm just going to pick the Dudleys, just for shits and gigs. Dudleys take this match. I suppose you could have the Usos win if you wanted to make this a big family ordeal for them and Roman Reigns, and possibly even if you have The Rock out there celebrating with someone throughout the show, maybe having the Usos win could be good for the purposes of maybe them making an appearance in a post-match celebration later on in the night or something like that, but still, I'm going to pick the Dudleys. The United States title is apparently on the line on the kickoff show as well. Kalisto, of course, defending against Ryback. And I'm going to pick Kalisto. I think a lot of people feel that maybe WWE is gearing up for yet another push of Ryback, and putting a belt on him at WrestleMania could be the start of that. Kalisto has held the belt for a little while. He's kind of a strange champion because we weren't expecting him to win the belt, but he won his long program with Alberto Del Rio. He's currently involved in a tag team, the Lucha Dragons, with Sin Cara, so you got to think that maybe he could drop that belt at any time and go back to being being in the tag team with Sin Cara, but I got to think that he's going to retain here, simply because WWE is trying to make that next guy to fill that void or that role that Rey Mysterio filled for all those years, and I think they see that in Kalisto. He can be the heir to the throne, so to speak, as far as that Mexican lucha star that they have on the roster that can sell a ton of masks and merchandise and just be that guy that they need. I think that they see that in Kalisto, and I think him winning another match against a mid to semi-mid Carter in the WWE would be perfect to keep him rolling. Where if they gave the belt to Ryback, I don't know, how long does Ryback hold it for? They already tried to do this with the Intercontinental title, gave it to him a few months back, and he just held it for a little while, and then he was done. I mean, it did nothing for him. Ryback is just not over. And I'm really not interested in seeing the WWE trying to push this guy again only for it to fail. So because of that, I got to go with Kalisto. So I say Kalisto retains. And of course, the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal is also taking place on the Kickoff. This one's tough because it's, like I mentioned in my Go Home Raw review, it's the fucking jobber battle royal. You got a bunch of nobodies in there. You got the social outcasts, and you have Eric Rowan, and you got Tyler Breeze, and just, a bunch of who gives a fuck. So the only thing I can think of is that this would be the perfect opportunity for maybe a returning star to win the Battle Royal, having someone like maybe Randy Orton return or Cesaro return, depending on how healthy either one of those two guys are. I really don't know. If you wanted to bring up someone from NXT, Samoa Joe, I know he's got the big title shot against Finn Balor on NXT Dallas a couple of nights before this. If he turns out unsuccessful, he could make an appearance in this Battle Royal and win it, and, that cements him as a full-time roster member going forward. I'd be totally fine with that, and I've mentioned Samoa Joe possibly winning this thing in the past. But as of right now, he's not advertised for it, so I don't want to predict someone that's not even advertised for the match. Another favorite is Bray Wyatt. I mean, last year he was working with The Undertaker. The year before that he was working with John Cena. Now he's on the pre-show. At least I think he is. WWE.com doesn't even have him listed as a participant in this thing, but I think most everybody else does. So I'm expecting that Bray Wyatt will be in this, and if he is, and they want to have him involved in major storylines going forward beyond WrestleMania, even though they currently don't have anything for him right now, if they want him to have a big feud with someone like Brock or Roman Reigns or whoever in the next few months, he's got to do something significant at WrestleMania, you would think. So he's a really good pick to win this Battle Royal. So is fellow Wyatt family member Braun Strowman, who's been pretty impressive. I mean, he's just a big, giant monster that the WWE obviously is probably going to give every opportunity to. So if they wanted to maybe disband the Wyatt family again, since Luke Harper is on the shelf with that knee injury, they might as well, break the group up again and have Bray Wyatt go his own way, and maybe these other guys can go their own way too. So maybe Braun Strowman does something like eliminate Bray Wyatt to defy him, and that breaks him out of the group. So I think Braun Strowman is another very likely possibility, and I also think that the Big Show is a very likely possibility. He won it last year. He was the runner-up the year before. If they want to develop some sort of a legacy for Big Show, because his career has kind of been a mess, having him win a couple of years in a row would put a lot of interest on next year's Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, assuming Big Show is a participant in that. So I think he is actually, as bad as it sounds, a really good pick to also win this thing, but I have to pick a winner. So since I have no earthly idea who could possibly win this Battle Royal, I'm going to go with logic, and I'm going to pick Bray Wyatt. I think he's the one guy, as far as the people that they have advertised, or the people that we think are going to be in the Battle Royal right now, he's the guy that makes the most sense because he's a pretty big star and he's not even a major part of WrestleMania. So at least if he wins the Battle Royal, that could be something. I can't really see Bray being the type of guy that would be proud of a trophy or anything like that. He doesn't seem like... He's not going to be like Owen was with the Slammies. He's not going to come out there every week with the Andre Battle Royal trophy and show it off to everybody. He probably doesn't care. But for the purposes of keeping him strong and relevant, I think he might have to win this Battle Royal. So I'm going to go out on a limb and pick Bray Wyatt. Now on to the main card. Now there are 3 matches that I can see opening WrestleMania. Number 1 would be the New Day versus the League of Nations. I can see New Day's music hitting first, and that's the way you kick off WrestleMania, with an amazing entrance and opening promo and goofy antics by the New Day. I think the crowd could really get involved in that, and I think it could be a really good way to kick off WrestleMania. I could also see Chris Jericho taking on AJ Styles. I think that would be a great opening match and a nice feather in the cap of AJ Styles after he had not been in the WWE for all these years, working so many other places except for Vince. And here he is opening the show at WrestleMania. Would probably be a pretty big moment for him, and I could definitely be pleased if that was the case. The other one would be if they did a repeat of last year and had the Intercontinental title match open the show. So I can see either one of those three opening. If I had to pick one, I really want to say the latter match because the person that I'm going to predict would be a really good person to have win if the match opened the show. It would be very reminiscent of what we saw last year with Daniel Bryan, but I think I'm still going to pick the New Day. I just am. We still have no idea what The Rock is going to be doing at WrestleMania. A lot of us expect him to be involved, hopefully, somewhere in that main event because of his connection to Roman Reigns. But if he wasn't going to do that, he was just going to come out there and do something random or do something to entertain the fans, I think a segment with the New Day might be pretty good. I mean, maybe The Rock opens the show. You know, he is supposed to be the host of WrestleMania like he was at WrestleMania 27. So if he came out there to open the show first and then New Day came out to interrupt him or crash the party or maybe to join him and they all did something fun together before the match with League of Nations, that could be fun. So I have a feeling that League of Nations and New Day will open up WrestleMania. And as far as who wins the match, it's not a title match, which I was mistaken. I had mentioned in my commentary the other night that this was going to be a tag team title match and I didn't know who was involved, but it's not. It's actually non-title, and it's going to be a handicap match, 3 against 4. Now, considering that the New Day is going to be inducting the Fabulous Freebirds into the Hall of Fame the night before, and the League of Nations is not even on the same planet as far as overness goes compared to the New Day, I got to see New Day winning this match. I hope they do. So New Day is who I am predicting in that match. Chris Jericho versus AJ Styles, this one's easy. You got to pick AJ. Chris Jericho is just a part-timer at best now. He's way past his prime. I can actually potentially see Chris Jericho possibly retiring sometime in the next couple of years. So if he's going to have one or two more feuds like this where he can put over the younger talent, you know that's what he's there to do. I say these guys come really close to stealing the show. Either that or they just give us a very pleasant match to watch. I've completely changed my tune on this match. I don't know why I was shitting on it. Say, oh, we don't want to see it for a fourth time. That makes me sound like a ungrateful, selfish professional wrestling fan that is just overstimulated and has too much going on for my own good. There is nothing at all wrong with having a nice, long, lengthy, multi-match program with a lot of ups and downs and twists and turns, and that's what these two guys have given us, pretty much on a more condensed level. And now we're getting another match between the two at WrestleMania, and considering this is the grandest of all stages, I think these two guys could come very close to stealing the show and giving us a 4 to 5 star match. So that's what I'm predicting. I'm predicting not only AJ Styles wins, but it's one of the best WrestleMania matches of the night. Now we're on to the Intercontinental ladder match. I really think this is a good candidate to open the show because I've given it some thought, and I thought, maybe they could give it to Zack Ryder. They were teasing that on Monday Night Raw. He even scored the victory over Chris Jericho, but, still, no, at the end of the day, that makes no sense. That would just be like them overnight deciding they want to give Zack Ryder a push. So I think the best option here, and I was thinking on Monday night that Kevin Owens was going to retain. I may have even mentioned that in my Raw review, that I was thinking about predicting Kevin Owens because I would love to see him retain. I think he's awesome, and I want him to have a really strong Intercontinental title run. And his potential feud with Sami Zayn, and the way these guys have so much history, I think can be a really fun Intercontinental title feud. So I think maybe the only way to keep that feud going is to have Sami Zayn win the Intercontinental title. I know he just got there. He's fresh from NXT. Giving him the same moment that Daniel Bryan had last year is a pretty big deal, but I think the WWE likes the guy. The fans are in love with him. You don't hear anyone say one single negative thing about Sami Zayn. If the WWE is trying to create this new blood, don't drag your feet. Let's get it fucking done. So what a great way to establish Sami Zayn on the roster as a player is exactly what they need, that little shot in the arm. The roster is depleted as it is. You need some new guys. You need some fresh faces and some new blood out there. And giving this moment to Sami Zayn would be great because then he can continue the feud with Kevin Owens because, of course, Kevin Owens would cry bullshit. Hey, I was up against 6 other guys. This isn't fair. I at least deserve a rematch for the Intercontinental title right away. We'll get that at the next pay-per-view. And these guys can carry out their feud for the rest of the spring, and it might be a lot of fun to watch. So, for that reason, I'm predicting Sami Zayn to win the Intercontinental title ladder match. I figured either the U.S. title or the Intercontinental title needed to change hands. I didn't think they both would, but one of them had to for sure, so I chose to have Kalisto retain and Owens to drop it. But if Owens were to retain, then I can see Ryback winning the U.S. belt. Definitely one of them is going to change, so I'm hoping Sami Zayn is the guy to grab the Intercontinental belt. Speaking of retaining titles, I think Charlotte will. I think she's going to win the match against Sasha and Becky. It's a triple threat, and I've mentioned scenarios like this before, that anytime you're going to crown a new champion, I don't like triple threat matches. I don't like too many people involved. I mean, if Becky were to have the big moment here, wouldn't you think you would want that in a one-on-one situation? Same thing with Sasha. You know, if she was chasing Charlotte all this time, finally got a one-on-one match for the Divas title and beat her for it. I'm sure if they decided to give it to one of those two girls, it would work out fine because they are three excellent women's wrestlers and probably the three best, maybe excluding Paige, that the WWE has on their roster right now. So to have them all involved in a WrestleMania match for the belt, I'm fine with. I'm not against the triple threat match, but I think it makes for a much better situation if Charlotte were to retain. And plus, Ric Flair was very big in Dallas. He lost the NWA title in that very city. He always traveled through Texas as NWA champion, so I think, you know, for Flair to have that moment with his daughter at WrestleMania could be a big deal for the two of them. And in all honesty, it's the outcome that I think makes the most sense. You can still give the belt to Charlotte or Becky at any time that you want, but maybe WrestleMania needs to belong to the Flairs. Probably the match that I'm looking the most forward to, because I think it will be the most fun, is Dean Ambrose versus Brock Lesnar. This is a no-holds-barred match, or whatever the hell it is. It's just a Extreme Rules, no-holds-barred, anything goes, do whatever the fuck you want match. We saw the great segment on Monday Night Raw where Dean filled up his wagon with all the toys and goodies and weapons to use on Brock Lesnar. He's not above using anything on Brock, even a chainsaw if he has to. I think this match could go all over the arena and can be really fun, and I think Dean can get really creative. I've mentioned that lots of times. I think the offense that Dean is going to use here, some of the weapons that he's going to find in his hands to use against Brock Lesnar, are going to be extremely unique and creative and exactly what we've come to expect from Dean Ambrose. I was even thinking this would be a good opportunity for a run-in, because I'm going to pick Dean Ambrose to win this match. Dean Ambrose is my pick. I think it makes the most sense. I think considering all the factors involved in this match, you can find a way to have Dean win where it won't hurt Brock's credibility really at all. Now, if you wanted to bring someone in and do a run-in, I mentioned Randy Orton earlier on in the Battle Royal. What if Randy Orton ran in this match? I know it's random as hell, and it wouldn't make much sense, but we've all been dying to see a Randy Orton versus Brock Lesnar feud. It's the one match we haven't gotten yet. So if Randy Orton just decides to make an appearance in this match and perhaps cost Brock Lesnar the victory against Dean Ambrose, that could set up a big Brock Lesnar versus Randy Orton feud going forward. Maybe it will culminate at SummerSlam. And then Dean Ambrose is out of that feud, and he doesn't have to worry about dealing with Brock anymore, and he can continue doing his own thing with a major victory under his belt now against Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania, which would immediately shoot his stock up through the roof. It's possible that Dean Ambrose won't need any help at all. I mean, CM Punk came very, very close to defeating Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam a couple of years ago, so maybe Dean could be the guy to do it, and considering all the things that Dean can use and has at his disposal. I mentioned how Mick Foley pinned The Rock for the WWE title under a forklift one time on that Halftime Heat show, so if Dean gets Brock in a predicament like that where not even Brock's superhuman strength can kick out of it, I think Dean has the chance to beat him. Undertaker versus Shane McMahon. Now it's starting to get nuts. There is just way too many options and possibilities for this match. I don't even know where to start. So I'm going to give you the short answer. I think the only logical winner in this match would be Shane McMahon. I'm no fan of seeing The Undertaker lose at WrestleMania. It broke my heart when it happened at WrestleMania 30, but you can't undo it. It's already done. The streak is over. What's the big deal if he loses another match at this point? And plus, when you think about that, normally after WrestleMania, The Undertaker disappears or he's off TV for, however long until he decides to come back again. So if Undertaker was going to win, where would that leave Shane McMahon? He just came back in and is teasing that he's going to be taking control of Monday Night Raw and the WWE, and there's this big power struggle now. It can't just end all in this one match. What was the point of having Shane even come back? So going forward, storyline purposes, you would think that Shane winning is the only option because of all of the fresh storyline potential that you get with a Shane McMahon victory. So I have to predict Shane McMahon. How he is going to win this match, I have no idea. That's where it can get a lot of fun, and I have a feeling, I just have a feeling, and we'll talk about the main event here in just a minute, but I have a feeling what happens in this match will also have an effect on the main event in some way. You gotta think that with all the shit that we're getting, that somehow it's going to tie in together at the end, and there's going to be some major McMahon implications going down in not only the Hell in the Cell match, but the main event as well. And I'm expecting some sort of a master plan to be unveiled and to unfold at this WrestleMania. That's what I'm hoping. I hope the WWE has just been fucking with us this whole time, and they've got a huge surprise for us at WrestleMania. And I think this match will be the beginning of that. It's very possible that Shane McMahon goes heel. He has a history of doing this. He's turned heel multiple times. He's feuded with his father. He's stood by his father's side. How are we to know that this Shane McMahon that we haven't seen in 7 years is honest? He could be just setting us all up. You would have to think if Shane McMahon is going to find a way to defeat The Undertaker, you're going to have some help. I can't see Shane doing this clean. So whether Vince runs out there and does something, maybe it's a big ploy by Vince and Shane to rid the WWE of The Undertaker. Maybe they just decided that they want to kill this part of their company, and the only two people that can do it are the McMahons themselves. So it's possible that it could just be a big ruse between the McMahons to get rid of The Undertaker, or it could go deeper than that. Shane could remain a babyface, which I kind of hope he does at least for a little while, because I think the idea of him running Monday Night Raw as a babyface and trying to please the fans a little bit more instead of the heel regime that we've been used to for so many years could be really a nice change of pace for television. So I'm kind of hoping that Shane doesn't go heel and he stays babyface, and maybe he finds some friends to help him win this match. I mentioned before Kurt Angle. You know, the two of them could have become buddies outside of the WWE over the past few years. There's also Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows rumored to come into the WWE pretty much at any time, so Shane could bring those guys in from Japan. They could be hiding under the ring or something and come out and help Shane McMahon win. There's also the possibility, albeit a far-fetched one, that maybe The Undertaker sacrifices himself for the good of the WWE. Vince McMahon has been using The Undertaker, trying to play him like a puppet. Maybe Vince McMahon gets involved in this Hell in the Cell and Undertaker has a change of heart and decides that he wants to sacrifice himself and his career and the legacy of The Undertaker for the betterment of the WWE going forward, and a guy like Shane McMahon is much better for the WWE than a guy like Vince or Triple H or Stephanie, and Undertaker could do that. You've got other wild cards out there like The Rock, like John Cena, who's been rumored to make some sort of an appearance at WrestleMania. I doubt he can get physical, but or maybe he could. But, you know, maybe he could have some sort of an effect on this match. Mick Foley, Shawn Michaels, there's lots of guys. Stone Cold Steve Austin could even be at the show in some capacity, so who knows what they could throw at us in this match, but I expect it to be drama-filled. It has to be. You know, we saw what Shane was willing to do on Monday Night Raw, diving through the announce table like that. I'm sure he's going to take some crazy risks and take some crazy bumps during this match. It's going to have all of that for us, but you know, if he's going to defeat The Undertaker of all people, at WrestleMania of all shows, he's gonna have to have some help doing it. So I expect a lot of outside factors playing a huge role in this match, but at the end of the day, whatever they decide to do and however they do it, I predict that Shane McMahon will be victorious in the Hell in the Cell match. Which brings us, of course, to our main event. WWE title, World Heavyweight Champion Triple H defending against challenger Roman Reigns. This is a very long-running storyline between these two guys. The struggle between Roman Reigns and the Authority has been going on for months. A lot of us don't even realize that Roman Reigns is actually a two-time WWE champion already. So for him to go in at WrestleMania and become a three-time WWE title holder, closing out the show, finally getting the best of the Authority, the confetti, and all of the love and celebration, except minus the love. The fans aren't going to be cheering, they're going to be booing. Fans have been dumbfounded as to why the WWE is blatantly ignoring all of the fans again, and no matter what they are saying about Roman Reigns, the WWE doesn't care, and they just keep pushing Roman Reigns with their original plans like nothing is going on and just ignoring the fact that the fans hate the guy. But maybe they're not, and that's what I've been holding out hope for all this time, is that in this main event, again, just like the match with Shane and Taker, you got so many different possibilities here. So I'm not going to predict how it's going to go down. All I'm going to predict is the winner. But I'm also going to give some ideas. Now, you got to think that WWE is not going to be stupid enough to sabotage their own WrestleMania in a building where you could have over 100,000 fans there. They're not going to fuck themselves in the ass by just having Roman Reigns win, just so the fans can shit all over it to close out WrestleMania 32. Even the WWE can't be this fucking stupid. So I gotta predict some major swerve here. Something is going to go down, and I really think that Roman Reigns is going to go heel. That's right, I'm predicting a Roman Reigns heel turn and WWE title victory. I just mentioned how Roman Reigns is a two-time WWE champion already. He won both of those titles while being a babyface. So if he wins it again while being a babyface, that's no guarantee he can hang on to the belt because the authority and everybody in charge hates him. So maybe he's going to decide to make a switch to the other side. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know if he's going to team up with the McMahons, maybe Vince, maybe Stephanie, maybe Shane, if Shane ends up going heel in that prior match with The Undertaker, if it turns out to be a big ruse by the McMahons, and maybe not only do they want The Undertaker out of the WWE, but they also want Triple H and Stephanie out of their lives as well. Maybe they, come out and help Roman Reigns eliminate Triple H, and then I don't know, there's a big three-way hug between the three of them. Remember when The Rock won the WWE title at the Survivor Series in 1998? I reviewed that pay-per-view, actually. Check out my YouTube channel page to find that if you'd like. But that image of the three of them hugging, I can almost see them redoing that and duplicating that with Roman Reigns. That would be great. There's a million ways you could book a Roman Reigns heel turn. It could turn out to be a big ruse. This big master plan that's been unfolding for months could be something that Vince McMahon has been working on, all this time. And then it's revealed that him and Roman had been in cahoots this whole time, and it was a big ploy to get rid of Triple H. And now you got Triple H as a babyface. He'll probably be off TV for a while. Maybe even Stephanie could go babyface, because I don't think they would have her leave Triple H's side unless she joined up with the McMahons too. Maybe she's in on it as well, and maybe everybody just wanted to get The Undertaker and Triple H out of the WWE. Triple H can stay off TV, stay out of storylines, and just stay in his backstage job and really not come back on TV again until maybe next year around WrestleMania. So if they wanted to do something elaborate, it could be some sort of a big master plan unfolding before our very eyes in the main event of WrestleMania. Or they could go simple. Maybe they have the match, they have all the spots, they do all the stuff. Triple H, just keeps beating Roman Reigns down. He won't quit. He won't say die. Finally winds up getting the best of Triple H, hitting him with the spear. I'm sure there's going to be table bumps and all sorts of crazy shit going on throughout the match, a lot of brawling and a lot of hard hitting. At the end of the day, Roman Reigns just straight up beats Triple H like all the fans are fearing. He's standing there with the confetti is coming down. The fans are booing like crazy. His music is playing. They're ignoring the fans' boos. WWE is just letting them boo their asses off. This goes on for 10 minutes. The Usos come out to the ring. Maybe even some of his family members get in the ring. The Rock, who could be out there at ringside doing something, he jumps in there to congratulate his blood brother or whatever the fuck they are. Twitter would be blowing up with crazed wrestling fans shitting all over it. I cannot believe how stupid the WWE is. Listen to these fans booing this crap. This is the darkest day. This is the worst thing to ever happen in WWE history. And just when you think WrestleMania is about to go off the air, bam! Spear to the Rock. Imagine the pop that would get. You would be essentially turning someone heel just to get a babyface reaction out of the crowd. That's the type of fucked up predicament WWE is stuck in right now. So I think if they were to turn Roman Reigns heel, it would be either a big elaborate master plan involving the McMahons, or it would be him winning and then attacking a loved one after the match. It could even be a situation where he cuts a promo. I mean, maybe he gets on the mic and says, Rock, I never needed your help. I didn't need you out here. I didn't need you at the Royal Rumble. You came out here and tried to steal my spotlight. He's already had a chip on his shoulder in recent weeks because he finally was fed up with being screwed over time and time again by the Authority. He doesn't seem to care about anything now. So, him attacking The Rock like that would be perfect. Or he could be someone like Dean Ambrose. You got to think Dean, his Shield brother, would be out there to celebrate with his friend if he won the WWE title, provided that Dean's not in the hospital after his match with Brock. So maybe Dean's out there celebrating with Roman, and Roman does the same thing that I mentioned with The Rock, only he does it to Dean. I think there's a lot of stuff that they could do. And, when you combine that with what's going on with Shane McMahon, if he winds up taking control of Raw, we're going to know that prior to the main event. So Triple H could go into this match distracted, knowing that Shane McMahon has won his match with The Undertaker and is now in control of Raw. That could be weighing heavily on Triple H's mind. And, like I said, I think both of these matches are going to tie in together somehow. There's also the possibility of, the brand split. If Shane winds up winning his match with The Undertaker and taking control of Raw, then you got to think maybe Vince or Triple H or both or something like that would maybe go off and do SmackDown, and you could have that split of the brands, and then you could start dividing up all the major talent. And I mentioned the other night that it would be a perfect time to turn John Cena heel. If you had Team Vince McMahon and you had like heel Roman Reigns and, maybe Triple H or anybody on that team, you could have John Cena come back to the WWE, and then he has to choose a side. Of course, you're expecting him to choose Shane McMahon's side or whoever the babyface's side is, and then he goes heel and joins up with Vince, which would make sense because Vince has been very good to John Cena, and so has the WWE. So John Cena remaining loyal to Vince McMahon and Stephanie and Triple H might seem likely. Who the hell knows? I would like to see a situation where everybody at WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels might be there, Stone Cold Steve Austin might be there, Mick Foley, The Rock, John Cena. I would like to see all of their reactions to what Roman Reigns does at this show somehow. Maybe you cut to a shot of them in the back watching the monitor. Maybe they come out on the stage and are just maybe looking or shaking their head in disgust. I would like to see Roman really make an impact. If WWE insists on making him the main guy, it's got to be a heel. I mean, the babyface thing is not working. It's been proven week after week after week after week. And the WWE, I'm pretty sure, understands that. The fans, I think that the WWE doesn't, but I'm holding out hope that they know exactly what they're doing, and they're going to punch us in the mouth with a really wonderful surprise at WrestleMania 32. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm predicting not only does Roman Reigns win the WWE title from Triple H, but that he also goes heel. There really isn't any other outcome that I can think of that would work out better than that, because if Roman Reigns wins and does not turn heel, we know that's going to end badly as far as the crowd goes. You could have Triple H retain. The crowd would actually like to see that. They would probably pop for it if it happened. I listened to one of Jim Ross's podcasts about a month ago, and he suggested possibly doing a double turn of some kind. Maybe this could be a way to get Triple H over as a babyface and Roman Reigns over as a heel. They could attempt to do something like that. So I definitely think there are lots of options, and I just hope that the WWE does one of them. So there you have it in a nutshell. Those are my WrestleMania 32 predictions. I could turn out to be very, very right, or I could turn out to be very, very wrong. I honestly don't care as long as WrestleMania 32 is a good show. The wrestling fan in me, coming from a person that has watched every single WrestleMania from the very first one, I have memories of all of them, as you guys heard, in that long 6-hour ordeal that I uploaded earlier this month. Coming from someone like me, I'm going to remain positive and I'm going to remain optimistic, and not only have I predicted all of those winners that we just talked about, the big prediction that I'm going to make is that WrestleMania 32 will be a good show. And if it turns out to be that, I think the WWE deserves a lot of credit, because there are a lot of major names not around right now for this big show. And it's most likely going to be WWE's largest crowd in their history. So that for them to be missing so many key players is heartbreaking for WWE. But I think they're going to pull off a good show anyway, and I think the fans are going to go home happy. So that is my biggest prediction, is that we're all going to be very pleased with the outcome of WrestleMania 32. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I will catch you guys extremely late Friday night or early Saturday morning with your NXT Dallas review. And like I said, of course, Saturday night as well for a quick reaction of the Hall of Fame. I'll be up here immediately following WrestleMania 32 to talk about all the results and give you my reaction. And I will also do a review of the post-WrestleMania Monday Night Raw on Monday night. So we got a lot of videos ahead of us. WrestleMania week is here, and it's in full effect, and it's going to be a lot of fun. Leave me all your thoughts and predictions and ideas for WrestleMania 32. I'd love to take a peek at them, see if anybody out there is anywhere close to being on the same page as me. And I guess we'll find out if Good Mike Work's a genius or not in just a few days. So I'll talk to you on Friday night. Until then, peace.